Hey, what's up guys, Chili here, welcome back to more Witch on the Holy Night. Last time we met Toko, and confirmed that she was the bad guy, or the enemy who's been trying to take over Alice and Alco's territory. And I, like, way back, when it was mentioned that the enemy used puppets, I was like, Toko? But then I ended up dismissing it. And it turns out I was actually right. So, you know, that happened. And anyway, we're on to, I think this is chapter 10. I want to say chapter 10. Howling. Maybe it's 11, but I think it's 10. So yeah, next episode. Gonna start the battle proper now that we know who the enemy is. This everyday tale started like any other. Okay. The morning sun alerted Soujyuro that a day of work lay ahead. Specifically, the gardens needed tending to. An unkempt garden made for an unhappy Soujyuro. I didn't even know they had a garden here. Luckily, today was his day off from all his part-time jobs. It was the perfect opportunity to get his hands dirty. There was one problem, however. The mansion's grounds were vast. Not only had the courtyard been left to run wild, but the area around the front door had been neglected too. To tend to these problems thoroughly, he would have to work on them week in, week out.
Yoshi, mazu wa jinara shita na.
Alright. I'm surprised you're doing this when, you know, Toko could show up anytime and just steal you away. But, you know, in an ideal world, his task would only take a day, but for its enormity. For the moment, Soujyuro decided to set foot into the mansion's wilderness and evict the weeds. I think the weeds were here first, so I don't think you can evict them. But, wasting none of the early light, he started tackling the ones around the mansion. By his estimation, he could clear the courtyard and backyard, then take a small rest. Okay. Cool. And Alice is like, what the fu- Oh!
どうしたの彼
You know, I don't know, but this is a new angle. We never really got to see like outside the windows there before. So, I don't know why I was fascinated by that. I just,
さあ草摘みが趣味ってわけじゃなさそうだけど
Well, I mean, he sort of is out there for fun, kinda, a little bit, but yeah. It was just before noon in the sunroom. Alice had come down, book in hand, to find Alco sitting down with a fashion magazine and elegantly sipping tea. Through the window, she could see the crouched figure of Soujyuro shuffling by.
朝からやってるみたいよ起きてカーテンを開けたらもうあの格好でスパスパやってたからついでに焼却炉の掃除も言いつけといたけどいいでしょ
Okay, he's already working on the garden, and then you're like, hey, if you're out there doing work anyway, why don't you clean the incinerator? Like, oh, sure, thanks for the help.
いいけど頑張るのね彼外はあんなにも寒いのに
Pretty, impressive, huh? Or, inspiring? Alice quietly sat down. Her teacup had been placed on the table for her. She poured herself some tea and proceeded to open her book. But the two sat passing the time in silence. Having happened to have the same idea, a nice relaxing cup of tea in the sunroom. With their evening roles decided, there was no need for idle chatter. Alco stared out the window, intermittently turning her gaze to her magazine. Alice was immersed in a book on rune magecraft, occasionally tilting her head up as if to recall something. As if by unspoken agreement, in unison they pressed their teacups to their lips and glanced outside. What? To the two girls, Soujyuro appeared as if you were an animal in a zoo. Wow. Neither was interested in lending a hand. Okay, not wanting to lend a hand, you know, fine, whatever. You don't want to get your dainty hands dirty. Well, at least Alice's hands are dainty. I don't know about Alco, but yeah, like, come on. He's not a zoo animal. It's so rude. Despite his sluggish movement, he was making good progress. As Alco's attention turned back to the sunroom, her eyes met Alice's. Alice returned her gaze to her book, though moments later she raised her head again. Yeah? What is it? what the speed? This is Dragon Ball now? Just moving at like hyperspeed? They're like, what the hell? Clearing her throat, she attempted to focus on reading. It was no surprise that Alice admired Soujyuro's diligence. Not even 30 minutes had passed before he had cleared the courtyard of its unsightly weeds. Without stopping once, the mysterious gardener left the courtyard, puffing clouds of white breath. The area he left behind was spotless. I mean, you know, he probably tended gardens in the mountains, so yeah. Alice muttered after scanning over his work. A stalwart Soujyuro worked confidently and ceaselessly. She was impressed, like she was watching a scene from a great movie, but before long she grew irked. Why would he waste his energy like that, she thought. I mean, it gives him something to do and makes him happy to see the garden in good standing, so I wouldn't really call it a waste. Alice looked at the clock.
焼却炉。今から手入れをしたら夕方ね。
Yeah, we could have him put it off till, you know, the next day off of his work, right?
そっちはもう終わってるわ。朝上から見てたもの。壊されちゃいけないからあれこれ指示出してね。
Damn, so you just fasted everything, huh?
いやー、窓開けて散々となったから部屋が冷えること冷えること。
So, okay, rather than just go down and tell him how to do it, you stood in your room at your window. I will never get over how lazy mages can be, or magi, whatever, can be when they're not doing the, like, studying of, like, whatever their brand of magecraft is. It's just like you could have just, you know, gone down there, talked to him, said, hey, do this, so you don't like that. But no, she's like, oh yeah, she's like yelling from up here. It'll work. It was safe to assume Alco had come to the sunroom to escape her cold room. Between barking orders from a window and cleaning in the cold, it was clear who had the harder job.
しずきくん 何か言ってこなかった？
Hmm.
言ってたけどよく聞こえなかったわ。
Wow. His complaints weren't even heard. In other words, his complaints fell on deaf ears. You know, Alice is real judgmental of Alco for this, but like, like she's acting like she wouldn't do the same thing. I mean, she probably wouldn't yell at him, but she'd ignore the complaints. Actually, well, maybe not. I don't know, actually. Now that I think about it, I don't know if she would. No. With nothing else to discuss, the two resumed their reading. The ever so tense silence was broken by Soujyuro entering the house after finishing his cleaning. He's like, really? He stared at the two of them, displeased.
あったかそうだね、青崎。
外よりは幾分ね。廊下の気温は外とあまり変わらないけど。
Yeah.
それでどうして庭の掃除なんて始めたのよ、宗十郎。
Sojuro's subtle jibe had failed to find its target, and Alice is still judging her like, really? Really? He had no chance of winning, and so just hung his shoulders in defeat.
今日は本当に寒い。明日あたり雪でも降ってくるだろうから、外の掃除は早くに済ませたかったのに。焼却炉は予定外だったぞ。
Yeah, Alco just likes to torture you. I don't know what to tell you. He sounded resentful, but his problem wasn't with the additional work. If anything, he was glad to do it. What he didn't care for was how nobody had even bothered to lend a hand.
いいじゃない。焼却炉はみんな使うんだから。
That's true.
じゃあ、その首相な心がけついでに2階の廊下に掃除機かけといてね。
Poor Soujyuro.
それと、裏庭のブナの添え木、壊れかけてたでしょ。工具箱はあんたの部屋に置きっぱなしだから、それを使うこと。
God damn it. Soujyuro, why do you put up with this? I really hope... you know, I'm betting Alice will say something.
で、全部終わったら私の部屋に来てくれる？いらないものまとめておくから、焼却炉で焼いておいて。
Okay, come on. Alice is still like, really? Hence why she made him clean the incinerator. Cruel but clever. Yeah,
それで
true.
青崎、君は何をするんだ？
Read.
そうね。やることもないし、ギターにでも触ってようかしら。
What? Bruh. Alco thought hard about how to spend her afternoon. Yet the thought of cleaning did not cross her mind, as had always been the case. No, it was not out of spite that she didn't think to help clean. It was because the word cleaning was not in her vocabulary. Soujyuro knew exactly why the mansion was in the state it was in. Still, that didn't change the fact that the corridor upstairs was very long. And Alco was not lying about how cold it was inside. Or about how cold it was. Inside was not much different than outside.
そうか。あくまで掃除をする気はないんだな、青崎。
Nah.
まあ、掃除はしたいからするけど、こう、なんだろう。一緒に住んでる人間をそこまでこき使って、両親は痛まないか？それとも、割と気づいてはいたけど、両親そのものがないのか？
I think it's more she doesn't feel bad about using you this way. As usual, he might have gone too far. His remarks had hit too close to home. Alco closed her magazine and turned to face him. Infuriated, she glared, her sharp blue eyes piercing into him. Yeah? Soujyuro knew he had not said anything unjust, but he always backed down first.
宗十郎、何度も言うようだけど。
Uh-huh.
はい。
He replied automatically, straightening his back in response to Aoko's cold, calm tone.
勘違いはしないで。私たちはあんたを同居させてあげてるんじゃない。
Yeah, that's been, we know.
これ以上ないって譲歩の末、仕方なく飼ってあげてるだけなんだからね。
Aoko did not mince her words. Soujyuro nodded in defeat.
そうか。飼ってもらってるのか。
Okay. I was taking a drink, so I couldn't respond to that properly, but what? I mean, sort of, but like,
そう。番犬にもならないだろうけど。
Okay, hold up. He's done all the cleaning, he's done your cooking, like what? Aoko responded, already tired of the conversation. While Soujyuro had little room to counter, he still tried.
しかし一方、番犬は間違っても自分の食いぶちを入れたり、天津さえ家賃を払ったりしないのも事実であった。
True.
なんか言った？
No, nothing.
いや、負け犬の遠吠えを少しばかり。
Bruh. He raised his hand dismissively, knowing he couldn't win. To Aoko's ears, his attempt at self-deprecation sounded facetious.
宗十郎、あんた、本当にわかってる？
Yeah. You know, if I tell anyone, don't agree to this, we get murdered. That's the whole thing, I know.
そうだな。君たちがどうあっても掃除をする気がないぐらいは、なんとか。
I mean, they're busy fighting the enemy, okay? You know, I was giving them shit earlier too, but like, they are currently trying to figure out how to fight back Toko, so it's like... Aoko grinned at her pet's obedience. As long as he knew his place, that was all that mattered to her. Really, Aoko? She seemed to be extremely satisfied with his response.
余裕あるんだ、しずきくんってば。
I guess not. Her playful smile darkened, as did Sojuro's expression.
青崎、なんだか息ができないんだ。
このまま放っておくと、そんなことも言ってられなくなるんだけど、試してみる？
No, I think you got your point across. I think we're good. He shook his head, his expression growing more and more grim.
賢明ね。私も窒息したいなんて見たくないもの。
Thanks, I guess. The grating sound subsided. Soujyuro gingerly touched his throat. The collar that had suddenly tightened around his neck returned to its normal size.
気管が塞がれた時の苦しさを知らないんだろう、青崎は。本当に抵抗できなくなるんだぞ、あれは。
Yeah.
だからそのための首輪だって言ったでしょ？
Yeah, true.
今まで実践したことなかったし、あんたは相変わらず危機感ないし、ここらで一度しつけておいたの。それより掃除、急がないと日が暮れるんじゃないの？
Why didn't she... Okay. She seemed much more compliant to helping with chores in the, like, chapter 8, like the whiteboard scene. Is the whiteboard scene just not canon to the actual story?
わかったよ。結局、今日はこうなる星の運びだったんだ。
What do you mean by that? Soujyuro left the sunroom, his shoulders slumped and his tail between his legs. Aoko watched him leave before turning to her magazine as if nothing had happened. Alice paid no attention, None of that had anything to do with her. Uh-huh. With Soujyuro gone, the room once again fell silent. As the clock ticked on, Alice suddenly stopped flipping through her book.
ねえ、どうして彼を酷使するの？
That's, a rather interesting question from you, Alice. She asked as though talking to herself. Alka replied without so much as looking up.
別に最後には記憶を消させてもらうんだから楽しかったら困るじゃない。
Obscure as ever, but sincere in her own way.
そう。言われてみればそうだったわね。
Alice couldn't believe she'd forgotten about the situation. Silently, she looked up from her book and gazed outside once again. The courtyard through the window reminded her of where she lived a decade ago. Nothing could compare to the beauty of those gardens. But if that was the case, why did the scenery make her feel nostalgic? All Soujyuro had done was take care of the gardens with the goodness of his own heart. In only half a day, he'd achieved so much. She likes, I don't know if she likes him or no, and the Wonderful World of Ploy scene kind of hinted that she liked it romantically, or at least sort of, with the whole, oh, the apples are far from the tree, referring to her mother, and her mother supposedly had her with a non-magi who, I guess you're not supposed to do that. Even though I thought Rin's mother was also not a magi, but I guess maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But it's interesting how their relationship is building. It was Christmas Eve and snow had started to fall. Its timing was too good, as though it had waited for that day specifically. The cold, bustling main street seemed bright and vibrant under the layer of frosty white. Reindeer statues illuminated the surroundings. Children danced merrily to jingle bells. People walked along the brick road, smiling broadly. These festivities, however, had not reached the mansion on the hill. Silence enveloped the isolated building. The shadow of the snow-covered woodland grew longer, beckoning in the darkness. People returned to the warmth of their homes, knowing a bitter night lay ahead. Is Soujyuro gonna freeze, by the way? I don't know if he has any heating in the attic. Obviously heat rises and whatnot, right? So, the attic should be the warmest place, but at the same time with no heating in the winter. Yeah, I don't know. Something had been amiss in the mansion all day. Perhaps it was the calm before the storm. 2 days had passed since Toko Awazaki had revealed herself. Alko and Alice spent more and more time locked in their rooms. Meal times had grown noticeably quieter. With their roles decided, they were too busy with their own jobs to worry about each other. On this day, the two had been relaxing in the drawing room since morning. The mood was calm. Well, mostly at least. Soujyuro was fretting that tonight would be the same.
雪が明日ならよかったのに。
Yeah. He aimed his words towards the girls on the sofa, despite knowing they would be ignored. Whether the snow fell today, tomorrow, or not at all, it didn't affect them. The snow just meant a white Christmas. Aoko remained silent. She wasn't ignoring him per se, she just had other things on her mind. Soujyuro knew this, but still cast a lonely glance around the sunroom. The courtyard he had cleaned only a few days ago was hidden by a layer of white. The falling snow would stop every so often, but then resume again as if teasing Soujyuro. By the next morning, the courtyard would be a winter wonderland. Alco and Alice had sipped tea in an effort to fight the cold. In fact, it was all they were doing.
そういえば、瞳子さんの髪の色は青崎より濃かったね。あんな綺麗な赤毛は初めて見た。短くしてるのはもったいなかったな。
Soujyuro, I don't know if, you know, complimenting her sister is the best thing to do right now. Soujyuro rambled on, not expecting a response. However,
短かったって姉貴の髪が？
yeah? Alka's expression went from nonchalant to its usual sharpness.
それどういうこと？短くしてるって髪の毛のことよね。
Yeah?
ああ、アリスより短かったけど、それがどうしたんだ？
Yeah, I guess I haven't explained the whole hair is a source of like power for like female magi, especially.
別にあの人前は私より長かったってだけ。
Or not. I guess it's not what she's surprised about.
そう。あの髪を切ったのね、姉貴は。
Yeah. Alco spoke in a grave tone. Showing slight interest, Alice turned to Soujyuro.
普通じゃないな。髪を切ったぐらいでどうしたんだ一体。瞳子さんの髪が短いと青崎が困るのか？
Wait, is the puppet at the amusement park? It had hair. It was made to look like well, they assumed it was made to look like Alco, which I assume is probably still the case. But where to get the hair from? Did Toko cut the hair just to like do that? Her hair just to do that?
まあその通りだけど。いいわ。どうせ夜まで暇だし、説明ぐらいはしてあげる。
Okay, so so they are gonna talk about the hair thing with Magi.
あんたがそんなこと言わなければ、未知数のまま瞳子と戦う羽目になっただろうし。
Alco knowingly glanced at Alice, her expression suggesting she was treating her. She was also likely seeking approval. Alice remained stoic as ever, her expression showing neither approval nor disapproval.
簡単に言うと、魔術師にとっては髪の毛も武器ってことよ。昔から人間の髪や目は魔術の材料になりやすいの。瞳の色は多いほどいいし、髪も長いほど質がいい。
I didn't mean to.
昔から人間の髪や目は魔術の材料になりやすいの。女の場合はことさらにね。
Okay, it was only like 2 words that I accidentally skipped, but
髪の毛は自身と同一視しやすいし、長い年月をかけて育てられる原始的で強力な原料と思ってくれていいわ。
yeah.
私が髪を伸ばしてるのはまあそういうこと。手入れが大変なんだけど、そこは女だから半分趣味みたいなもんよね。
Soujyuro glanced furtively at Alice, wondering if the same held true for her. Maybe Alice had cut it because it was a hassle to maintain. It sounded stupid, but then again this was Alice. Soujyuro nodded to himself.
ん？じゃあ青崎としてはいいことじゃないか。
Or that means she's already turned the hair into weapons, or if my theory is right, she already used her hair.
瞳子さんの髪短いんだから。
それがここに来る前に使い切ったものならいいんだけど、伸ばした髪にはいろいろと使い道があるのよ。私は瞬間的な術の強化にしか使えないけど、姉貴だったら高級的な術の補佐に使うはず。
But if she's already done that here, like to...
年月と想念を蓄えた髪は 魔術師の分身とも言える。そういったものをね、死んじゃった犬だの猫だのを反言させるときに与えると、術者に服従する使い魔が出来上がるの。生前魔力のなかった使い魔、例えば猫とか犬ね。これらは術者の髪を取り込んで独自の魔術回路を得る。申請することで全く違う生き物、猫の魔術師になるってこと。例えば人語を介したり人間に化けてみたりって。
Okay, this actually answers a thought I had in Kagetsu Toya, the Tsukihime semi sequel sort of, kind of, with the elf-eared girl, because like there's also a cat, and they have like the same bells around their neck and whatnot, and I was like, yeah, they're probably the same thing, and this kind of confirms that, because I didn't remember if like familiars could take that form. Alright, I won't go on about Kagetsu Toya in Witch on the Holy Night, but still, that this actually clarifies something for me over there.
行動原理も変わってしまって大抵は術者に似通った性格になるわ。そうよね、アリス。
Her last words came with a mocking smile. Alice silently ignored it.
じゃあ瞳子さんにはアリスのみたいな使い魔がいると。
そう見るのが妥当でしょうね。姉貴は20年以上伸ばし続けた髪と引き換えに強力な使い魔を用意したってことよ。
That's rather concerning. The fight at the amusement park. Just the thought of Alice Quonji releasing flat snarks sent a shiver down Sojuro's spine. The oil of the moon had been a unique familiar out of this world.
ほら、そこ心配しない。三崎町をぶっ壊す規模の使い魔なんてありっこないから。
We sure about that?
確かに長く歴史のある紙を使用するほど強力な使い魔が出来上がる。けど紙を使った魔術師はそれまで溜め込んできた山中のうちの一つを初めからやり直さないといけない。
And what are one of the three pillars?
切った紙はまた伸ばさないといけないでしょ。使い魔を作るのは簡単だけど、そう多く従えないのはそういうことなの。
As Alko spoke, her mood visibly improved as though she had made a breakthrough.
犬とか猫か。
Uh-huh. Tilting his head to the side, he could not imagine a world where dogs and cats were so powerful.
変ね。
ん？
瞳子さんは人魚師よ。使い魔を作って自分のレベルを下げるのはどうなのかしら。
Again, I'm thinking she used that hair just to make that one that looked like Alko.
協力者がいないだけでしょ。青崎のお家騒動に人の手を借りたくないから自分だけで全部やるつもりなのよ。あ、もしかして遊園地の人形って姉貴の紙で作られたんじゃないだろうな。
確かに話に聞いた限りだと特注品ね。呪いによる永久期間、両手のギミック、フィンの一撃、執念深さ。瞳子さんでもゼロから作るのは難しいでしょうけど。
Okay.
けど何よアリス。
あの人は人形に自己を投影するような人じゃないわ。完璧な偽物なら許すけど、偽物に過ぎない偽物は容赦なく壊してきた。
Speaking of perfect replicas, didn't Toko use the perfect replica of herself in Kara no Kyokai when she went to fight, oh, what's his name? I forget his name, but in movie 5.
青子から見て、その特注人形は瞳子さんと同じ力量を持っていた。
まさか遠く及ばないわよ、あんなの。
なら瞳子さんの髪とあの人形は別件よ。
Okay, so I was wrong.
あの人が自分の魔力を分け与えたほどの使い魔があと1体はいると見るべきね。
I wonder if this is in fact referencing Kara no Kyokai, like saying, you know, Toko doesn't use that puppet until then, right? You know, when does Kara no Kyokai take place again? I think it takes place like years after this, like late. I think it's like 1992 to like 1996 is when like Kara no Kyokai takes place, I think, if I remember correctly. So, and if this takes place in like late 80s, yeah, it's possible that yeah, I assume we're not gonna see that that particular puppet in this game because she saves it for movie 5 Kara no Kyokai. I think probably that's my guess. We're not gonna see it here.
専門家としての意見。
Actually, someone let me know, like, what continuity does Witch on the Holy Night take place? Or what universe? Because, like, I know Fate and Tsukihime are separate. Kara no Kyokai takes place in the Fate time, or Fate universe, I think someone said. I think. I'd have to double check. But yeah, actually, I think someone told me already. This takes place in the Tsukihime universe, right? Witch on the Holy Night. So it's possible we may actually see that perfect copy puppet of Toko's if they're set in 2 separate continuities or timeline, whatever, universe, whatever.
つまりその使い魔は姉貴より強い。
Maybe.
そうでないと意味がないわ。人手が足りないというのもあるでしょうけど。だって私たちは2人、彼女は1人だもの。
I honestly don't know if she would need if what you say about her like level of powers to be believed, I don't know if she would need like a familiar that's stronger than her to handle you guys. I don't know. It would just need to be
同
like
時制
on
圧
par
の
with
想
her.
定済みってわけ。なるほどね。その場合、どっちが強い方を引き当てても恨みっこなしよ、アリス。
Or maybe I'm completely wrong. I don't know. Maybe she will use it. I don't know.
こと使いまであんたが遅れを取るとは思えないけど。
Alice had never been defeated by a familiar. She sided Aoko's overconfidence.
青子、たとえ20年間の蓄えを付与したとしても、その器が小動物では限度があるわ。
Yeah, true.
あの瞳子さんが切り札になる使い魔を用意したのなら、それは。
You know, I think they're underestimating Toko a little bit. If like the way this reads, it seems like they think, I don't know, because it's okay. Assuming her puppet in Kara no Kyokai, right? That was like it was literally her, pretty much. Like no one could tell the difference until she came back after being murdered once, and they were like, "Wait, what the fuck? That was a puppet?" Like. If that's the same here, like I think they really don't understand like the depth of her, like what she can do with the puppets and whatnot.
よしてよ。いくらなんでも姉貴はそこまで悪趣味じゃないわ。
What? Aoko and Alice stared at each other. The conversation had returned to the drawing room, but the subject matter was not for the faint of heart.
そうね。けれど、人間を追い詰めるのに最も効果的な相手は、 やっ
Oh,
ぱり人間なのよ。
is Alice thinking? No, that would. Ooh. That just makes me think that the puppet from Karno Kyokai wasn't actually a puppet and was a human familiar. That is an interesting turn of events, if that's the case. Huh. Again, they could be two completely different things, and I'm just making a connection for no reason. But I don't know.
瞳子さんが死者を亡者にしていなくても、それと同格の相手がいるぐらいは覚悟しておいて。
はいはい、分かったわよ。確かに天才ってやつは空気読めないから、どんな生き物の死体を用意してきても驚かないわ。
Yeah, you believe that. Aoko nodded reluctantly at Alice's directness. Needless to say, Soujyuro was completely lost. Yeah.
そのよくわからないけど、なんで青崎たちは死んでるってことに固執するんだ？生きてるものじゃダメなのか？
それは使い魔じゃなくて協力者でしょ。使い魔は基本術者なくしては生きられないものにしないと。
Does she mean can't live without a mage to sustain them?
それでいて優れた意志を持ち、術者の資格や盲点を補える知性もある。それが一流の使い魔の条件よ。正直な話、それだけ都合のいいやつは死から作り直すしかないってわけ。
It's true. Completely obedient and capable of compensating for their mage's weakness. Soujyuro felt that a familiar was a little different than himself. I guess.
さて。
Wait. Hold up, my brain just thought of something. And I don't know if... Oh god. Oh god. Okay. I'm just gonna keep going.
姉貴は昔からルーン使いだったから、戦術は予測できる。問題の切り札もどうやら使い魔らしい。自動人形もさすがにこの前で使い切っただろうし。
Aoko spoke directly to Alice, looking for confirmation. Alice nodded in agreement.
じゃあ予定通り、今日で終わりにしよう。この1ヶ月、好き放題やられた借り、ギッタンギッタンにして、あのバカ姉貴に返してやる。
Good luck with that. Aoko clenched her teeth and balled her fists. It all seemed like nothing more than sibling rivalry. In fact, that's probably all it was. Looking at Aoko, Soujyuro let out a sigh of relief. With what happened with Toko and how they reacted to her visit, the atmosphere had been deathly tense. For now, though, Aoko seemed much calmer. He took comfort in the thought that perhaps the sisters would just bury the hatchet. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that, man. Even if Aoko and Toko weren't sisters, he would not want to see what would happen if they fought. The hands of the clock turned gently. Approaching Judgment Night, a merciless silence would soon come to mock Soujyuro's complacency. Okay, that's kinda ominous. Okay, well, I was gonna stop there, but it looks like... Yeah, I am gonna stop there. I'm gonna I'm a blue ball everyone, including myself. And yeah. Next time we will probably finish the chapter, depending on how long it is. But we'll see. Anyway. That was Yeah, I'm curious to see if the familiar they're talking about is that like perfect copy puppet that Toko had in Kara no Kyokai. That would be interesting. Having that little. I mean, I guess it would be a callback because Witch and the Holy Night was written after Kara no Kyokai, but technically the setting is before Kara no Kyokai. But also, this is I think is a separate universe from Kara. Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, it was good. I had a thought, right? But nah. I'm gonna wait to say what my thought was about that familiar until after I finish the game, or if it gets confirmed or completely disregard, like whatever may it be. I have a thought that it won't leave my head. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time for the rest of chapter 10. Later.